If you want more content from We Studios, check us out at weepodcast.com. That's weepodcast.com, where you can find our Simpsons podcast, worst episode ever, our commentary series Sync Points, our Reddit, our Twitter, our Facebook, all that good stuff.
All of that good stuff. And if you want to follow this show, it's at 90s Percentile on Twitter. And if you want to support this show while you're at weepodcast.com, all you got to do is click those Amazon banner ads or save you one click, Jack. All you got to do is go to amazon.wepodcast.com. It'll take you right to Amazon, and we will get a cut of whatever you buy.
It's the place to be.
It's that easy. It's the place to be. And this is 90s Percentile. 60 minutes are on the clock, and straight out of We Studios, this is 90s Percentile. My name is Dan.
My name is Jack, and we're talking everything 90s and maybe also everything before and after, and we are recording. Like we may have just recorded 4 minutes of a podcast
that no one will ever hear because it was not recorded.
God was there, and God was listening.
And God shuffled his feet. That voice you are hearing is our guest who's in studio today, Billy Kammerer. How you doing, Billy?
I'm great. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks for being here, Billy. You are a stand-up comic and a friend of
Sometimes.
Jack, which is unfortunate.
Sometimes a friend of Jack.
Sometimes friend of Jack. And thanks for being here. So,
Thank you for having me.
You're
Thank you for having
a
me.
stand-up comic in New York. Do you have any big dates coming up that you want to plug?
Oh, yeah. Big show, June 11th. It's a big charity roast with me and some of the guys from Howard Stern Show, Stuttering John, Jackie the Joke Man.
Cool.
At the
I know those names.
Holiday Inn in Plainview.
Perfect.
On June 11th at 7 p.m.
Cool.
I won't be there. It's my birthday. I will be crying in my bedroom alone.
Yeah. Another foot in the grave.
You got other shows coming up?
Yeah, and then we have July 13th. It's called The Other Place in Forest Hills, New York. It's a comedy crew show. Me and some friends, we produce our own shows. And
The comedy
good
crew.
time. The comedy crew.
Gotta give
yeah.
them a shout out.
Yeah, Ron Prendamano and Vic Torres, my boys. And
There you go.
All right. Nice. Comedy crew. Check them out. I'm sure they're Googleable, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Spell it with K's.
Yes.
Comedy.
Comedy with a
K-R-U-E.
K and KRUE like Motley Crue to be
All right.
a jerk.
I like
But
it.
without the umlaut.
But not right.
Gotta get that umlaut, bro.
I couldn't figure it out on the keyboard, so I just said fuck it.
I hear you.
It's KR, the emoji for poop E.
Right.
We can barely
That's
record
a
this
good idea.
podcast.
Patent pending.
All right, Billy. So thank you so much for being here. As our guest, it is our custom that you have an option here. You can either pick the first topic that we're going to discuss, or you can cede your right and go right into our Wheel of Death, pick a random topic.
Keep in mind, though, the Wheel of Death, there is one slot in there that if we hit the whammy,
If we hit the death
we
whammy.
have to commit podcast seppuku and kill
Yes,
ourselves.
and that's
so that
Whatever.
is a risk.
It'll be a fun one
I
to
have
be here
cyanide
for.
in my bag. Whatever you guys.
All right, perfect. He came prepared, folks. I like it.
You didn't bring your own headphones, but you brought the cyanide.
Well, you did stress. Bring the cyanide. Don't
Proper
forget, Billy.
preparation prevents piss poor performance. Remember that.
There you go. So
If that means anything.
So
it was alliterative.
It was very alliterative. I liked it. So you do want to do a random topic? Is that's
well,
where we're at?
Yeah, I'm a random guy. I want to spin the wheel.
Okay, he's a
All
random
right.
man. All right, so we got 57 minutes and 27 seconds on the clock. Our first random topic is something we already did.
Okay, as long as it's not death.
Okay, our first topic is Cigar Aficionado, which was suggested by Johnny Rad.
Johnny Rad. Is that a...
What tax bracket is Johnny Red in?
I don't know. Is Cigar Aficionado an especially 90s thing?
I almost feel like that's a Simpsons reference.
I thought it was like
It's an actual magazine.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
Yeah,
But it's definitely still exists.
from what I remember a big thing with women being on the cover in the 90s.
Well,
Like,
Monica Lewinsky might have been on the cover.
Oh, boy.
Wrong magazine.
Sorry. She's Cigar Aficionado.
All right, so
Aficionado.
it certainly is a 90s topic because it started in September of 1992.
Sure.
It's literally just a magazine about cigars. A lot of celebrities on the cover. The Wikipedia article has William Shatner.
Billy Schatz. I think, is that the first issue or no? It's not.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't really know why this is a topic.
Well, we said everything 90s.
You're right. We did. We said everything 90s.
Thank you, whoever posted
It was Johnny Rad. This is pretty
you,
rad
Johnny.
of you, Johnny.
I'm sorry,
So,
I picked random.
apparently, it's the same people who made Wine Aficionado also created Cigar Aficionado. Or no, Wine Spectator. Is there a Wine
They
Aficionado?
also interviewed Castro, which is kind of crazy.
I heard they also
I
made.
do remember that,
They
yeah.
also produced Cancer Aficionado.
That one doesn't sell as well, though, especially not to the kids. Do you guys like cigars just in general? Are you cigar people?
Let's talk cigars.
I like putting stuff in cigars and smoking them that way. If you,
You don't need to be so blunt with us, Billy. Jack, what do you think about cigars?
Let's see. I've only smoked a handful in my life.
Me too.
at the same time,
At the same time, I'm that guy from that old timey photo with all the cigarettes and no.
Yeah.
I had a good. I have a good friend. I keep saying I had a good friend because he hasn't responded to any of our texts for like 6 weeks, and we just don't know where.
Oh, geez.
Hopefully he's not dead.
Okay,
but
yes.
give us a call, Chris. He like insisted on taking me to this. Like I don't know if it was Cuban, but it was some kind of restaurant. Maybe it was Cuban.
Okay.
And where it's Cuban food, and they also have like a cigar roller in the
Yep.
restaurant,
Oh, yeah.
and he rolls the cigars. And he was like very insistent, and I've done that. I've done cheaper cigars. I've done cigars at weddings and stuff. You certainly get a high from them if you don't smoke often, cigarettes or cigars. You get that little kick. It really does neither here nor there for me. I'm not big.
My dad smokes cigars nowadays, which is a fairly recent thing in his life, like in the past
he's
5
retired
years.
now.
midlife
right?
crisis maybe.
Yeah,
That's
I don't
just
know.
the thing you do.
No,
You
no.
go golfing, you smoke cigars.
Is he getting a convertible now? And
He should.
pierce the air
Give it to
and-
me. But yeah, no. I enjoy a cigar every now and then. My wife is Cuban, so my entire in-laws are all Cuban, and
You have a connection.
I got a connection. If you guys need, just let me know.
I would think most Cubans in America would have the least connections to getting Cuban cigars, if only because
they
like,
probably do.
because like they escaped Cuba because they political asylum. And
Right.
It's like he's like, oh, but I still got my buddy. he'll ship me some.
I mean,
cigars.
I don't think I've ever seen any of
I have a
my
cousin.
extended in-law family smoke a cigar once,
Like,
except
yeah,
Janelle,
'cause
my wife.
If
smoked
anything,
one.
I'm guessing that would be supporting Castro indirectly.
Yes,
Yeah,
you're right, which is something they, believe it or not, they're not crazy about it. They don't like supporting Castro. I'm always like, what's the big deal? He was a social guy. But they say I don't get it.
You're
but
more
anyway.
of a Raul guy.
Yes, you're right.
So do you smoke them?
I have, but I don't really enjoy them. Like, I will every once in a while. But it's like you can't inhale a cigar because you will get sick very quickly.
Yeah.
And I've gotten that like queasy feeling because you just kind of absentmindedly you're smoking it. You think you smoke it like a cigarette.
I really don't enjoy smoking much anymore at all.
No, I don't-
Like
I
I
don't
used to
at
go to
all.
hookah bars when I was
I
younger.
also used to go to hookah bars, and I'm not really into them anymore.
Hookah bars all the rage now. Actually,
They've gotten popular, especially in this neighborhood.
Our neighborhood has a ton of hookah. Like there's certain parts
Yeah.
of like Fifth Avenue that just smells like hookah.
Right.
I
And
lived
vape
in
stores,
Astoria briefly, and there was also a part
Yeah.
of a story called Little Egypt, and it's just like every 2 feet is
Yeah.
a hookah
Yeah.
bar, and they're all outside drinking a coffee, playing dominoes, and it's just like a big
Right.
plume of
Yeah.
flavored.
Yes, yeah,
Smoke.
yeah.
And this doesn't there, at least there's not a lot of them around here if there's any, but if I were to smoke hookah, I feel like I would want to be in like a big wide open like open air park.
Yeah.
And like just like enjoy the flavor of it in my lungs. I feel like when you're in a hot room filled with other people's smoke, it
Yeah,
just kind of
that's
takes it
less
away.
Especially
Ideal.
if it's a lot of guys. It's not the-
Right. I've been to places that have like courtyards to smoke hookah.
Yeah,
And
but
those are
still,
nice.
but still kind of
It's still intimate.
And I feel like usually when you're going to an outdoor courtyard like that, it's summer and it's usually
Yeah.
hot and humid. Actually, one of the last times I went to a hookah bar, I remember was after work, after I got out at like 11:30 at night, and then went out to a hookah bar. And I'm no longer a night owl. I guess I still was back then.
Yeah.
And I also drink when I go to hookah bars. I have some beers, and I remember for whatever reason I got sick, like I got nauseous, and I don't
Yeah.
usually with cigars.
It
cigarettes,
happens to. It
I don't-
started happening
yeah.
to me with hookah, which is part of the
I
reason
guess I
stopped
just
doing
got
it.
old. I don't know, but
Yeah.
because I really have trouble smoking anything anymore. But I was with just me and a good friend, and we met these two girls that were by themselves, and we were like talking them up, and like it was like a fun something I haven't experienced in years because I'm in a long term relationship.
I
It's
hope
like
the end of the story is that you found out they were hookahs.
No, but like, yeah, I met a stranger and I'm hitting it off with them. But
Yeah.
then I get hot and sweaty and I go to the bathroom. And this was the one time in my life I ever remember physically being green. Like
Yes.
I looked in the mirror and I was just like, holy shit, I was like puke green colored. I was like, this is not normal. I'm a cartoon right now.
I had a very similar
You're a cartoon
experience.
frog.
I'm a cartoon frog.
I had a very similar experience one of the last times I smoked hookah. I went to the bathroom and looked at myself, and I had to put like water on my face because I was so flushed.
Do you need water, Billy? We can get water.
We can get water for you. We get a hookah if you want to.
We're such an immersive podcast.
Yeah.
So just the mere fact of talking about hookah is making you cough.
Making me chill.
Yeah, but anyway, I had to like just go outside and just sit and just be by myself in the cold air and just like get normal again.
Well, I didn't do that, and I went back to the table, and it's not a group, so I can't like disappear into the group. And basically, I did that. I just like stopped talking and just stared at the wall, and I made it super awkward for my friend who was with these two girls.
I'm sure.
But yeah, that was the one time in my life I physically turned green. But yeah, in general now, I really just don't like the physical act of smoking.
I used to own a hookah, actually. I forgot about
Really?
this. Yeah, well, it was a friend of mine's, and then I kind of like was keeping it in college back in the day, and like we used to smoke hookah pretty often.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about it is like
we used to smoke it outside too, and you're right, it was very
much
nice.
better. Yeah,
it's much
it's
better.
like, look, you get the flavor of the smoke, and you do get a kick out of it. So there's an appeal to it, I get. But
By
I
the way,
just feel
smoking
like,
is bad, kids.
yeah,
Don't
but
smoke.
I feel like it's not worth it at all. Like it's because it's so
not.
unhealthy.
Yeah.
and I feel like there is something enjoyable about it, but it's not at all worth it.
Right. There's other unhealthy activities I'd rather do. Like I have to eat class. I just have to do that. And that's tearing me up from the inside out. So take your vices.
But you're not wrong, because you're saying you have to eat glass. I have to eat like disgusting cheeseburgers, and that's pretty much as
basically the same
unhealthy
thing.
as glass.
It's basically
but it's
the same
like
thing.
that's something I'm choosing to do. Whereas hookah is just as unhealthy, if not more unhealthy, where I'm not getting the same like serotonin boost from a cheeseburger that I am from hookah.
Well, it's supposed to bring you down, because that's what the tobacco does. That's why the caterpillar in Alice in Wonderland was always so cool.
Yeah,
He smoked his hookah. But for people like you and I who are big wusses who turn green now, like it has the opposite effect, where like I get anxious when a hookah's around at this point.
Oh,
Panic attack? Hookah panic
I get a hookah panic attack.
I don't think I ever got anxious. Like it certainly doesn't have the same effect on me as weed or marijuana. To me, it was always much more subtle. It's almost like I don't smoke cigarettes very often, so even when I smoke a cigarette while I'm drinking, usually just that little nicotine boost gives me something.
Yeah.
I feel like that it's about that level with nicotine.
I feel
Right.
I'm a total hookah virgin. I've never even
really.
Yeah, never.
All right, we got the We Studios hookah here.
All right, here we go.
Let's pump them up. We had
Crusty brand hookah.
we had Harry try VR in the studio.
Yeah,
We're gonna
right.
have you try a hookah.
Oh man.
No, it's just flavored smoke. That's all it is. With like I said, with like that slight, I don't know if it's nicotine or what's in it, but that slight kick you get
It's
out of
tobacco, so there's
it.
definitely nicotine in it.
Is it hookah is tobacco?
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
flavored
yeah.
tobacco. Okay.
Yes.
Same with
yeah.
cigars. So like I don't not like them. They don't really come up. I don't go out of my way to smoke them.
I've had a flavored cigar that you actually had to chew, and it was made of bubble gum, and it was terrible. And I don't recommend it because they're awful.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I feel like I would be more likely now to smoke a cigar than a cigarette. I've really tried not to smoke at all anymore. Only when I'm like super drunk and I need, or if I'm like super stressed out. I think the last time I had like a rough breakup, and I had to work. I was just like, I had a smoke break. I was like, I just need a fucking cigarette.
Right.
But I feel like there's something more entertaining to smoke a cigar than a cigarette.
Yeah.
At this point, as a non-smoker.
Right.
Oh, it's bigger.
It's
Yeah,
definitely
that
bigger.
too, yeah.
Smoking a cigar is more of an event.
Exactly,
Like you can
yes.
smoke a
Yes.
cigarette
Yes.
wherever.
Exactly, yeah.
I mean, not in New York.
You gotta
You
cut
can't.
it
But
and the whole preparation.
yeah,
of it.
yeah. There's a lot of ritual to it, I guess. Which
I
I think
that's
people
it.
like that.
I think it is the ritual, because
Yeah.
I do think now, for the most part, I would only smoke a cigar if it was at a wedding or something like that.
Right.
If it's just like my buddy going, let's smoke a, like I have guys at work who like on their lunch break they're like, I'm gonna go have a nice cigar break. I'm like, it doesn't do it for me.
That seems odd. There's definitely a cigar bar or cigar store, I guess, in this neighborhood that I always walk past, and you always smell that thick cigar smoke, and it's always just filled with old white men just watching movies and just like in a cloud of smoke.
That's the
Waiting
other
for
thing.
the horse race to start.
Yeah, they are the cigar aficionados.
They are the cigar aficionados. That's the thing. The other thing about cigars, but this can even go with like food. Like I love food. Food is like my favorite.
I also
thing
love food.
and I love.
They should have a food cigar store where you can go and just eat food.
Food and cigars, and like I love food. And if I'm on the train, especially if I'm like just ate and I'm full, but even if I'm not, I don't want to smell somebody else eating food. Like I don't want that. And the same with cigars. It's just like
no.
it's like I don't mind cigars. I don't mind smoking a cigar. The smell of it really doesn't turn me off. But God, secondhand cigar smoke is just—it's not as bad as
Secondhand
secondhand
cigar
cigarette
smoke's bad.
smoke, but it's just like I don't want to smell that shit. I hate when there's like an old guy walking in front of me on a sidewalk, and I'm just like trying to pass him like it's a wide truck or something.
Yeah, because they smell.
They've
Old men
got
smell.
range. Oh no,
No, I know. No, cigars smell. They smell terrible, and it travels. You're
they've
right.
got a range.
What about vaping? Have you guys vaped?
You mean the douche flute? No.
The douche flute. Yeah, that's
I
one
don't
thing
think
that
I've
does.
I've vaped. I haven't vaped tobacco. I've vaped something else, and I actually
Right.
like that a lot more because look, I enjoy.
See, that I can't do. I can't vape that.
I enjoy the effects of marijuana from time to time, but I still physically hate smoking. I hate smoking. I hate the idea of like putting ash in my lungs.
Yeah, bringing smoke into
So
your lungs.
I'm hoping this vape thing becomes more cheaper, and like I've noticed it's becoming a much more
I was
common
given
practice.
a vaporizer as a gift for Christmas from a
Yeah.
friend of mine, and it just doesn't do it. For
Doesn't
me.
do it for
I
you,
need
huh?
I need the, especially
that
the way
smoke.
Yeah.
I mean, not to like in terms of pothead, I'm like
Well, it does-
disgusting. I'm a degenerate all day, all night. Like I don't care.
Okay.
So I need. It's might because I smoked for many years, cigarettes for many years also. But I need the pull. I need the.
yeah.
yeah, this,
Yeah,
Right,
I need something wrong
I
in
think
my
there's
mouth.
a
You gotta
science.
feel it.
I gotta feel
Well, I
it.
think there's a science to it because, like, I've always said, I can't wait for them to legalize weed in New York because I just want to eat edibles. To me, that like I hate smoking. I don't like.
Yeah.
I don't want the whole to do. I would love if I could just have a bite of a cookie and feel great for a couple hours.
Right.
And then somebody was like, "Well, you would get a lot less high if you did that." And there's something about the science where it doesn't the blood-brain
All right.
barrier. It doesn't.
You're completely wrong.
okay.
That person is a liar.
Okay.
From what I know about situations like this, depending
Not
on
that you would, even though you were
depending
in a
on
frat.
depending on how much you put in. Let's say, for example, that someone made brownies that had marijuana
Yeah.
in them and put a lot in, and then,
Por example.
and then a group of people ate them and then went to go see Kill Bill 2 in the theater. Let's just say,
All
for example,
hypothetical.
let's say that happened. The experience that you might have, and that these certain individuals may have had, is that the movie feels like it is going very, very quickly, except for the scene where she is buried alive, which felt like a small eternity.
I felt like you were right there with her, right?
Hypothetically, it was terrifying. So it was, it can be
So
much
my
more
point
intense.
is, with vaping, I'm wondering if there is a difference in high from the
Yeah,
typical.
I didn't notice anything from vaping.
Didn't notice
marijuana.
anything, meaning there was no effect at all, or there was not a different effect?
I hear it's stronger, but I don't know.
I noticed. I felt no effect.
I don't think it's stronger. I think what it is you can do more of it because it's less harsh on your lungs.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
So I had a bunch of friends in college who were kind of
Hypothetically.
Well,
You hypothetically had some friends.
I hypothetically had a few friends. I hypothetically went to college, but they were kind of engineering guys who were kind of nuts about this stuff and would like. I had a friend who built his own vaporizer. It was basically just he bought a gun that was like a heat gun that like painters use to dry paint.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a special bowl that you could buy that's fit for this gun for this purpose because this gun just happened to heat to the perfect temperature to vaporize marijuana. And so
Fahrenheit 451.
yeah, of course, the temperature at which marijuana vapes.
Ray Bradbury, huge marijuana vapor.
Huge. But anyway, he had this
You had to
paint
come
gun.
up with that white clown TV show somehow.
He had this special bowl, and he put it onto this like Snapple bottle that he had welded the bowl into the
Jesus.
cap, and he'd cut off the bottom of the Snapple bottle and put a garbage bag on it.
Oh my God.
So he vaped it, and you'd have an entire garbage bag, and he would just pass it around, and you would just smoke from the garbage
That's
bag.
amazing.
Yeah,
Hypothetically.
hypothetically, it was awesome.
I have tons of hypothetical stories I could tell for the sake of the podcast. I just want to tell one because it was very recent.
Sure.
So this might come off as a surprise to you guys and our listeners. I'm a bit of an anxious, neurotic person.
Ah, okay.
And I don't, again, this is something that's like happened throughout my 20s where I wasn't like this all the time. I've gotten more neurotic as I've gotten older.
Yeah.
I think like the few years I lived after college where I moved back home and I was like not living the life I wanted to live. And I was just like, isolated at home, working my ass off, and just living with my mom's not even in my mom's basement. I was back in my the basement
Yeah, you
would
were
have been
back
a
in your
huge
bedroom.
upgrade.
Yeah.
Anyway, I feel like I got more neurotic over that period of time for whatever reasons. I don't like crowds. I don't like being around crowds. I've become very agoraphobic. It freaks me out.
That might just be a getting older thing because I also hate crowds.
I've also more. I don't know. I've become like a doomsday prepper and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm also more.
That's just you being crazy.
Well, no, I think that's just more me being aware of like crazy shit that could happen. It's like when I'm in a crowd, I'm like, man, if there's a fire, I'm fucked. And like these are the
True.
thoughts that go through my head in any situation. Anyway,
Somebody pulls out a gun, it's over.
yeah, hypothetically, weed makes this worse.
True.
And I went to, I'm a big Islanders fan, and I went to my first Islanders playoff game. My first Islanders game, actually, because they used to, those who don't know, the New York Islanders are a hockey team. They were in Long Island at the Long Island Coliseum, which you have to drive to.
Right.
And they moved to
National
Brooklyn.
Veterans Memorial
Yeah,
Coliseum.
there you
There you
go.
go.
And they moved to Brooklyn last year, so now they're literally on our same street. We're on 4th
they're,
Avenue.
many blocks away, but yes.
Yeah, but it's up there. It's a 10-minute train ride, 20-minute train ride. So I finally went to the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, and I got really, hypothetically,
You
really
got stoned out
high
of your mind.
before I went there.
You got high, pathetically.
and
Oh.
and I went there.
That works on many levels.
you.
Billy, come see him June 11th. This man is good.
I was high, pathetically, so just even if I was sober, I hadn't been to a professional sports game in a couple of years, and I hadn't been to a playoff game maybe ever, which
Yeah.
is much more intense. There's more people. There's much more high energy.
Playoff
So-
hockey is probably the most
Yeah.
intense
Yeah.
personal viewing
Exactly.
experience you ever possibly
Yeah.
have.
So I
sure.
was just like, holy shit. And I was like bugging out, and I go through security, and like I'm just like, I don't want them to know I'm high. I don't want them to know I'm high, hypothetically. And
Did you have anything on you when you were?
Well, I was just like, so I'm in the line. I'm getting through. No, I didn't have anything on me, but I was
yeah,
just like,
hypothetically,
I was
you
like,
finished
all right,
already.
What's in, what? I also lose all motion control. I'm just a fucking mess. And I was just like, what do I have? What's metal? What's metal? And I'm like taking my keys out and I'm putting everything. I go, and I was, oh my belt. So am I supposed to take my belt off? Finally, I just like walk up to the guy.
to pull it out, baby.
I lean into the guy's face. I'm like, do I take my belt off? And he goes, no. So I go through the thing. And I left my hat on, and they start yelling at me. You gotta take your hat off. So oh, sorry. And I take my hat off and try to walk back through the metal detector. They're like, no, it's okay. They give me my keys and my wallet and stuff, and I
Yeah.
thought they were like.
Somebody else's?
I thought they were telling me to give them my hat, so like I gave them my hat. And it was just such a nightmare. Then I get to the stadium.
That's
We're
awesome.
up in the upper deck. It's way steep. I'm
if,
just like,
if they
It
didn't
is
think
very
you were
steep
high
there.
before, afterwards they totally knew you were high.
Yeah.
no, it was completely
Hypothetical.
Thing is, they don't give a shit. But when you're high,
No.
you think they do. Hypothetically, and so it's very steep, and I'm just like, I'm gonna fucking fall. Even if I'm stone cold sober, I'm just a lanky motherfucker,
Yeah,
and I have
yeah.
no. I've always fallen.
I'm always afraid. And like Yankee Stadium, especially, is very steep
I
up
don't
the top.
understand how there isn't one person dying per game.
Yeah.
How isn't one person? And everybody's wasted.
That you know of.
Everybody's
You don't know.
wasted.
That's true. They
Is
keep-
it like
they-
Disneyland?
they
Do
They keep it
hide
under wraps.
Do they hide it? Yeah, and so I'm just surrounded by people, and it's just a very intense experience. And I was just like, this is crazy. And I was like, just surrounded by like tens of thousands of people, and they're all
Yeah.
chanting. And I was just like, it felt very tribal. Like we just saw
doesn't-
X-Men Apocalypse.
They're all probably high too.
Yeah, that's the thing that makes me feel bad. We just saw X-Men Apocalypse, and the movie opens up with like a bunch, like thousands of Egyptians, like
Right,
worshiping
worshiping Apocalypse, yeah.
And I was just like, it's really that's just such a weird concept that like human beings were just getting together and like.
Just worshiping a dude.
And I was like, that's kind of what we were doing in this hockey game. And like I was thinking all these weird things, and I was like, man, if there was a terrorist attack right now, I'd be fucked. I would fall off
Yeah.
the edge. And I was just like,
You wouldn't Van Damme sudden death thing.
No, I would.
It's a great movie.
It would have been sudden
He
death.
saved that Stanley Cup.
Save that.
No, I would have been Van
Mrs.
Damme.
Roper dying in the beginning was terrible.
I would have been Van Damme in the little scene Sudden Death 2 where he gets high and then dies suddenly. He just dies suddenly.
He just has a heart attack in the back of the playoffs.
So anyway, it was just the wrong time for me to
Yeah.
smoke.
Well, I
Although
gotta
it
say-
actually once that first 15 minutes of like super high left, then I
Yeah.
was like really enjoying the game because I was
I gotta say,
hypothetically high.
there are enhancement smokers, is what they were called in the movie Half Baked. John Stewart played
Yeah.
one of them in the movie, where they just like want to get high and experience everything while being high.
Yeah, that's me.
I've never really understood that because, like, to me, going to a hockey game high sounds like hell. Like, I would not want to experience that. And just you've confirmed that is
It's a
accurate.
50-50 thing though. It's hell, but
It
if you can
depends.
convince yourself that it's not so bad, you get rid of the paranoia, you get rid of all of that, then
Right.
there is that part of your brain that's ready to enjoy it enhanced.
Yeah.
I just find life not high hell. That's just.
Really? Okay. Well, maybe so.
I'll tell you this: most of my stand-up, if not all of it, most of my ideas come when I'm high. And I hate to say that
I would
because
say, but 98% of
I
mine.
don't want this. I'd like to think that I'm naturally creative, but it does help you make connections you wouldn't otherwise make.
Sure.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I would have never started stand up if I didn't start smoking. I only started smoking when I was 30, so I was late.
I started late as well.
I was
yeah.
late to the game, and if I didn't start, I would have never attempted stand up.
I want
Interesting.
to do a legit PSA. I purposely waited till I was like 22, 23. I don't think teenagers should smoke. I don't even think you should really drink too much, but you definitely shouldn't smoke weed when your brain is still developing. Like,
No, you shouldn't.
Like
Yeah.
you're fucking yourself up long term.
I'm on the fence. I grew up on a lot of medication and stuff like that,
Yeah.
so like I was always doped up on something.
Sure.
To me, the marijuana is that there's a huge difference between anything
Between that and
prescribed.
like Ritalin or all the other
I think
pills.
long
I was
term.
on
I think
Prozac
this.
and Xanax and like
I feel
this.
like it. I feel like it stunts your growth. I feel like I'm cognitively a little weaker than I would have been had I never smoked. But it's
Hypothetically.
worth the pro. It's worth the pro outweighs the small con of maybe being a little bit slower with memories and stuff.
Right. Hypothetically, if someone had like smoked a lot during college, like to
Yeah.
a ridiculous extent that maybe they regret nowadays, they may find that their memory is not as
Right,
great
right.
when they're, say,
But
30.
it's hard to tell because hypothetically that now 30-year-old also has a smartphone and their brain is
True.
completely wired differently than any
That is
other
true.
generation.
Yeah,
So
it's
it's
true.
hard to know what's what. But
Yeah.
if I have
Like back in
kids-
the day when you had to know how to get somewhere, you couldn't smoke a joint and,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
go on a road trip. Now you just have your little
exactly your phone
Right.
serial
You know?
serial will get you there.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, I if I had kids, I would really try to talk to them and be like, look, I get it. I know
Yeah.
you
I
want to
blow
try
smoke
it,
in my
but
kids' face.
just try to wait. Just
I
try
would-
to wait a few years.
I would just say, yeah, just do it in college. Like, it's fine. Hopefully
I
by
would
then
wait-
it will be legal.
I still think it's a little. Your brain is still developing in your early 20s.
well, let's. I don't know how we got talking about this, but
because we don't know shit about cigars.
you're right. But
Cigar unofficial.
based on our conversation so far, I think
cigar off.
I think all of us are in favor of legalizing marijuana.
Yes.
Is that fair to say?
I would say
I don't.
so.
It's the reasons that it is illegal are mostly rooted in racism against Mexicans.
I mean, it's a tough call ethically
It's
in
kind of
terms
silly.
of what the government should tell you and tell you not to do because
Well-
look, it should be legal because drinking is legal.
right?
Maybe everything should be illegal because in the long run it's better for everybody.
Right.
But that's not the conversation.
That's a
we're having.
terrible argument, like structurally. No, I
Yeah,
agree
no,
with you.
yeah,
like drinking is not only legal but a part of our culture,
Yeah.
and it is so much worse for you than marijuana is.
Yeah.
Why would marijuana not be?
I know
the
a guy.
same way?
He got turned down for a huge Geico promotion. Basically, he was going to be promoted to a driving salesman, and they would have given him a company car that he could keep 24/7.
Yeah.
But he failed the marijuana drug test.
Yeah.
So because he smokes, because they know he at least smokes marijuana at some point, they wouldn't trust him with the car. But there's nothing stopping him from drinking 30 beers and then getting in the
Right.
car.
Exactly.
So what is
You're
the
right.
logic to that?
There is no logic. I agree.
Or making a shitty Geico commercial.
But what were you saying about it? It should be legalized, or
It should absolutely be legalized. I mean, I think we're getting there. Like
Oh, it's gonna
Colorado
happen,
and
yeah.
California and Washington, it's slowly making its way to the East Coast.
it'll
I guess.
happen right around in New York. It'll happen right around the time where I'm too old and I'm just like I can't do this anymore.
I don't think that's true. Like you'll be old and you'll be like, I got nothing to do, so
I-
you just
I-
go down to the store and buy
It'll
a
be
bunch of
sooner than you
blunts.
think. It'll be sooner than you think.
I think so. I
don't
mean, we've
see-
already
The prejudice is pretty much
the prejudice is
almost
pretty much
eradicated.
gone. Like most people are like, yeah, it's whatever.
It's in every movie now, like with the
Yeah.
Seth Rogen clan and all those
Yeah,
guys.
yeah.
Yeah.
And,
No, it's a perfectly
there's gonna be
acceptable
a-
thing to do.
Yeah.
There should be a TV show. They got to have a father who's a pothead sooner or later, right?
Oh,
Well,
I
yeah,
never-
yeah,
That's the role.
Weeds.
That's the role I'm made for, by the way.
I don't know if you ever saw the show Weeds on Showtime.
Yeah, right.
Kevin Nealon was like a huge pothead.
Right,
he was
right,
a successful like city councilman and
I
lawyer.
do-
You had Weeds with the pot dealing mother. You
Yeah.
had Breaking Bad with the meth dealing father.
Right.
And all you need is the crack dealing grandparents, and you have the whole
got the whole set.
family tree.
ABC Family's new lineup.
Call it
Heroin
Vile or
Grandpa on
something,
Freeform.
right? You call it Vile or something cute like that, right?
Oh, that's a great name
Thank
for a
you.
show about
Patent
that.
pending,
Crack
patent pending,
dealing
patent
grandpa.
pending.
Very good. Nice.
And
So,
there was
I
that hit HBO comedy, The Wire.
Yeah, that was a laugh riot. Oh boy.
I think that was from the writer of Veep.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think that's all I've got to say about marijuana, about
Yeah,
cigars.
I mean, I've got
about Cigar
that's a
Aficionado.
topic we try to avoid too much on the show, just because it's whatever.
We
We're
don't
going to
be
avoid
preachy,
it
but-
until we stop recording. Then we're
But
going to.
so I've got
then
that's a whole
Hypothetically.
that's a whole aspect of my life where I have plenty to say, but there's a time
But
and
you-
place.
you
I don't
forgot
think
all
it's-
of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot it all. I forget.
That's right. It's all gone now.
What were we talking about? What
Up in
Simpsons
smoke.
episode are we watching?
Oh boy. All right, guys. So I think we're done with that topic. I think it's safe to say we're ready for a new topic.
Billy, you want to pick something? You want to spin it again?
I want
Push
to
your
spin.
luck.
I like spinning.
All right. So Cigar Aficionado is the new topic. No, it's
Somebody come up with like Tone Loc or something.
not. All right, here we go. Our next
You can
topic.
pick Tone Loc if you want.
That's
You could pick Tone Loc.
Nobody else has in a while.
All
Somebody's
right,
at the jukebox at some bar right now. G7.
Don't listen to Wild Thing.
Oh, I hit the wrong button. This isn't Nickelback.
If I was to ever like be in a movie, that would open my movie.
That's your
Wild Thing
Wild
by
Thing.
Solo.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, you're doing a stand-up show. You should have that as your opening.
I
music.
should, right?
Let
You
them
should.
know.
There you go.
I've thought of. I have a few songs I've always wanted to come out to, and now because I smoke weed hypothetically, I can't remember any of it.
Yeah. Oh, God. All right, guys. We got 30 minutes and 55 seconds on the clock. We got a very, very 90s topic here. It should be an easy one to chat about. Suggested by Cat Stamps, it is The Lion King.
Well, that's funny.
My
Penguins in pajamas. Penguins in pajamas.
There's a new show on Disney Junior called The Lion Guard,
really?
and it's about the
Is it like-
grandson of Simba.
And he works at
Interesting.
like the Lion Bank, and he just
Right,
sits in the front
exactly.
door. And he's just
So wait, it's a grandson of Simba, and Simba is dealing heroin? And
Yes,
is that what it
exactly.
is?
Yeah. The
Heroin,
grandson.
Dad.
No, I'm not sorry. Mufasa, the grandson of Mufasa. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
okay. So
It's
Simba-
Simba's son.
Yeah.
And he's going
Got
to take
it.
over for Simba. So now it's all about Simba raising his son
Okay.
into the new Lion King. It's called The Lion Guard. And my
we
kid
should
loves
mention that you have a 5, 6-year-old,
4-year-old. It's
4-year-old
gonna be
son.
5.
You're not watching The Lion Guard on Disney Channel by yourself.
Although maybe
Sure I am.
should we be? It's a good show. I don't know.
It's if you like The Lion King,
Yeah.
it's not bad.
All right, not bad.
So is it actually? It's not like a very kiddie show. Is it a little bit more mature?
It has some mature themes. to it.
Disney's got some. Like I watched Last Airbender, and that's not Disney. I remember Disney had a really cool Tron show too, animated
Yeah.
Tron show.
Oh, did they really have a Chandra?
They did. It was like Tron Legacy, the
It got
series.
canceled
or
right
something.
away, and it was really good. But anyway.
But the Lion, he likes it. The Lion,
Yeah.
you know, it has a lot of the carryovers, a lot from the Lion King. And
Yeah. Well, I have an interesting question for you then. As the only one on this podcast who has a kid.
that we know.
That we know of. I know. The Lion King came out in 1994. That was a movie for all of us growing up, I'm assuming. Does your son like the older Disney movies? Like, has he seen The Lion King? Does
Yes,
he
he's seen
like
the Li-
it?
He's seen Lion King. He liked the direct-to-video sequel of The Lion King 2 better than
Simba's Pride, I believe
Simba's,
that was called.
like,
Yeah.
blasphemy. But yeah,
Yeah,
he likes.
yeah.
Two Lion, Two King.
He like.
I really I don't like that they replaced Pumbaa with what's his face
With Dwayne The Rock Johnson?
Yeah.
Hakuna Matata, son of a bitch. What the fuck was that? I don't know, but he enjoys it.
Yeah. Okay.
No, I'd
'Cause it
imagine
seems
he
like
would.
it's a movie with some staying power. Like it's
yeah,
the
I think it's
Broadway
definitely
show has
classic.
been on for like
Yeah.
20
I
years.
think a lot of the big Disney classics do. Like I
don't know if
I
Treasure
grew up,
Planet is beloved.
No, but I grew up watching like
Titan 80 isn't
Cinderella
gonna-
and like Lady and the Tramp, and those were horribly dated compared to when I grew
Right,
up in
and
the
some of them are
80s.
racist. Song of the
Right,
South.
so Song of the South.
yeah. Song of the South
I
I've
saw
never
Song of
seen.
the South in the movies before.
Did you really?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
That was before it went into the
Date my
Disney
ass.
vault forever.
Yeah,
I've never seen it.
I've
Is
seen
that the
some
one
clips.
with Zippity Doo Dah?
yeah,
It is,
yeah. I
yes.
actually saw that like on the I didn't get it.
It's so weird
until
that
later.
What's it about?
It's about
About slaves?
I don't know exactly what it's about, but it's not. It doesn't portray the Southern black man in a good light.
It's no Cosby Show.
Like also
Cosby Show.
like the crows in Dumbo also get a racist.
Very,
I haven't-
very
I haven't
racist,
seen
yeah.
it in years.
Well, because I'm not even going to do the voice, but they speak in a very like 1930s. I think one of them is called Jim Crow, and it's just
Yeah,
very like
yeah.
it does
Jeez.
not look good in retrospect. What were we talking about? Oh, Zippity Doo Dah
Yeah.
is like, it's very interesting that Song of the South is so racist that Disney had to distance himself
Like
from it.
racist for Disney.
Yeah. Which is let that sink in. But I feel like this song, Zippity Doo Dah, became so popular that they couldn't ignore it completely.
It's a very
and now it's like
catchy
this,
song.
it's this weird thing where they have to recognize it but be like, oh, it was a different time, but Zippity Doo Dah is a fun song, right? Zippity Doo Dah.
Oh man, I don't know the lyrics or anything. It's a catchy song.
Zippity Doo Dah, Zippity A.
is it
My,
like-
oh my, what a wonderful day.
The last you probably seen it was when Chevy Chase sung it in Fletch Lives. That was probably the last time.
Well, I think I had, I'm almost positive I had one of those Disney sing-along cassettes, like a videotape that you would
Right.
watch, and it would have the bouncing ball to sing along, and Zippity Doo Dah was on one of them. And that was in the early 90s when,
You should
at that point, Song
still
of the
have
South-
that. It's probably worth a couple of bucks.
It might be.
But the song's still okay, right? It's been divorced from Song of the South.
That song in particular, I think, is okay.
Okay,
So,
because it's not like whippity doo dah. It's not like
It's not
no.
Witchetty Doodah, right?
It's not offensive. It's not like directly about slavery, is it?
no, I don't,
Or racist.
I don't think so. I don't know. Should we look up what the plot of Song of the South is? I'll look it up
I
right
mean,
we
now.
can talk more Lion
It's
King
not
if you want.
Pickety Doodah. No, it's not.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm sure even like Lady and the Tramp, I'm sure there's like some offensive stuff in there because it's so dated.
Well, the spaghetti scene is towards Italians.
Oh yeah. I don't like to see the part where Lady just goes, "I have these fucking wops," and like, and Tramp is like, "I know, right?" I could say that because I'm Italian.
Yeah, it's just apparently it's just a bunch of stories about Reconstruction era Atlanta. So there you go.
Yeah,
it's a tough time in American history.
Yeah.
But
Probably
anyway,
it's probably not treating history as faithfully as The Patriot with Mel Gibson.
no, of course not. Which is how I learned all about America. God bless us. It took an Australian to show us the way.
Yeah, but no, I'm sure kids, if anything, Disney movies are almost more immune to being dated for little kids than like TV shows, like
the DreamWorks movies, which have like very pop culture references that don't age
too.
well.
But I'm also thinking like cheaply made like Saturday morning cartoons. Like I guess like Scooby Doo and Hanna-Barbera. I guess there were dated, older, last generation Saturday morning cartoons that I could watch.
Right.
But I don't know. I could see like a lot of kids these days, like your son, not wanting to watch the crappy shows that I watched as a kid.
Probably not.
Like the higher.
No one wants to watch Big Bad Beetleborgs in
exactly.
2016.
I guess like the higher art.
I barely wanted to watch it in 1995.
Yeah, I guess there's like certain maybe higher art, more maybe it's big budget. There's something about them that give them staying power and the churning out for quick buck.
The Lion King's a great movie. Like I think we would
first
all
of all,
agree with that.
it's Shakespeare.
It's Shakespeare.
Like
It's
Sons
an
of
adaptation.
Anarchy.
Yes.
It is based on Hamlet.
Based on Hamlet, yes.
For the club.
It's yeah, I mean, and I think Disney was doing that with all of their movies. Like, you know, they generally take something in the public domain, some story or whatever, and update it and kind of put the Disney spin on it.
It's funny that they were doing that from the get-go.
Kill the parents, make some jokes, happy ending.
Everybody wins.
Disney movie.
And it's also funny that they've been co-opting all of these older stories, and they lead the charge as far as copyright protection and extending the copyright
But like
laws.
Snow White was the first animated feature, and it was 37 maybe?
39, I think it was.
And it's, like you said, it was a public domain, Hans Christian Andersen or whatever,
Yeah.
or Brothers Grimm, whatever it was. And it's funny that people complain so much, and it has gotten worse, but people complain so much about how nothing in Hollywood is new these days. And it's like, we've been doing it. We're doing it more, but we've been doing that for a long time. Like,
We have.
The Mod Squad movie came out before this trend.
Oh, God.
Like, we've been...
Right, the Beverly Hillbillies.
Our bar was always lower. Our bar was always lower.
The bar is always pretty low. Yeah, you're right. But yeah, I mean, let's talk about The Lion King. So I'm assuming everyone who's listening to us has seen it. Like, this is a movie that everyone has seen.
Was it nominated for Best Picture? I know Beauty and the Beast.
No, I don't think it was nominated for Best
No?
Picture. Let's talk on that.
I know it was a big deal when Beauty and the Beast was.
That was the
I don't
first
think- I don't think
animated
it was
film
the best
nominated.
animated movie in the 90s. I think Bebe's Kids was a way better.
They don't die. They multiply.
Multiply.
I've seen Bebe's Kids probably more than I've seen The Lion King. Like I've seen
never seen
Bebe's
it.
Kids like 50 times.
I've never seen it. I remember the commercials for it were ubiquitous, but I've never seen it.
It's not a good movie. I started to watch it the other day.
What was it a vehicle
Or not
for?
the other day. It was Robin Harris.
was
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Wow.
And he died
During
production of it. Yeah, so he doesn't even voice his character, I don't
Yeah,
think. It's somebody
yeah.
else.
Crazy.
It's very odd. But I watched that movie a lot. I
I've
don't know
never
why.
seen it. Never seen it.
Anyway, I don't believe it was nominated for a Best Picture.
What was the movie? Was it the Pixar CGI movies? What initiated the Best Animated Feature category? Because Beauty and the Beast getting Best Picture nomination, and maybe I guess not Lion
I would
King,
probably think
was
because
there was no category.
There's
for
one every
animated
month
films.
now. They make one every. It used to be like it was like an event movie, like Toy Story, like once a year.
Yeah.
Now it's
Yeah,
every
yeah, yeah.
every
Yeah.
2 months you got some.
Yeah, the first I guess Little Mermaid was the first modern Disney.
That was
film.
Disney, the beginning of the Disney
Although
Renaissance.
I guess there were I guess that's not accurate. There were other animated movies out in theaters then. They just weren't as like there was the Jetsons movies, Brave Little Toaster. I guess All Dogs Go to Heaven. I guess you're right. Basically,
American Tail?
Once Toy Story came out, you're right. That's when it started becoming like every studio has to put out 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. But yeah, Lion King, top-notch film.
I'm trying to think. I guess
Have you guys seen it lately? You may have seen it more recently than us,
Yeah, I've
Billy.
seen it.
Yeah,
It
holds up.
Yeah, sure.
I'm
It's
trying to
sad.
think
It's
if
a
I
sad
like it
movie.
more than
It seems-
Aladdin or not. I feel like it's a better movie. I don't know if
Aladdin
it's
just
more
gets points because of
entertaining.
Robin Williams.
My
Yeah.
personal
I'll
vote
never-
is Aladdin. Aladdin's my favorite Disney movie.
But is it
Non-Pixar
Billy brings up a
division.
good point. Is it because of Robin Williams? Like, what else is good?
I mean,
about
it might be because Robin Williams is fucking
The
awesome.
music is good, but
The
what
music
else,
is great.
But what else is good? Like
It's a good
Jasmine's
story.
boring and
No, Jasmine's not boring.
do you like
Jasmine
Iago?
is-
Do you like Gilbert Gottfried?
I love Iago. Affleck. Yeah, no, I do. I think Aladdin really, really holds up. But we shouldn't talk too much. Well, I'm sure Aladdin is a topic in there.
All right, so let's talk Lion King.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in years. I've never seen the Broadway
Oh,
production.
I finally saw it a couple of years ago. It is pretty
I
amazing.
did see a
wanna
Latin,
take
but I
this
haven't
on
seen,
to-
I
it's
haven't
It's
seen
pretty,
Lion
the
King.
thing is, if you've gone to other Broadway shows now, that big huge spectacle has become more commonplace than it was
Right.
when Lion King first came out.
Yeah.
So I could
Spectacle or like a Broadway show based on something else that's already been
that
made.
too, yeah.
Yeah.
So like, I could see why Lion King was such a game changer for Broadway 10 years, 15
Now
years ago. But
Right.
now it's a little less.
Every theater has a musical based on.
Yeah, it's a little less
I mean,
special
there's
now.
been musicals based on all of these Disney movies at this point.
And all of them, there was a Shrek one. There was
There was a Shrek
There's
one.
no Song of the South.
Not yet. We're waiting for that one with bated breath.
During the Trump presidency, I have a feeling it's good. So Song of the South is
We're
going
going
to
to make America great again. We're going to get Song of the South on Broadway.
What's this?
That's a great. Probably.
Why can't we be? Why do we? What's this all this PC? Why can't my kids just enjoy a song about slavery?
I showed Song of the South to my children. They loved it very much. They're fine.
Song about zippers. Who cares?
We're weak. Not having Song of the South playing in every theater in America makes us weak.
Oh, God. Anyway, I don't want to talk about Trump. Let's talk about the Lion King, not
Winning
the
the polls, folks.
douchebag king.
He's the scar.
He is the scar. He's going to lead us right to that elephant graveyard.
Bernie Sanders is Simba.
Who's Timon and Pumbaa then?
The guy from Saved by the Bell, the summer episodes, and Nathan Lane.
His name is Ernie Sabella, by the way.
Yeah, Mr. Carosi.
Yes, Mr.
Is that Miss
Carosi.
Carosi? He's the.
He was the voice of
Pumbaa,
Pumbaa. Yeah. Timon and Pumbaa, do they hold up? Are they annoying? I don't know.
They're in the Lion Guard a bit, so they're popular.
They're the
Yeah.
Rosencrantz and Guildenstern.
They are
Wait,
Rosencrantz
I,
and
did,
Guildenstern.
I just bought
Yeah.
him a bunch of toys. It comes with like 12.
Yeah.
Oh,
toys
so
in the
I
bag.
said
It comes with
Hamlet. It's
Timon and Pumbaa.
Macbeth, not Hamlet.
No, it's Hamlet.
Rosencrantz and Guildenstern's Hamlet?
Yeah.
I'm getting my
Because
Shakespeare
Hamlet,
mixed up.
the father dies,
Right,
comes
right,
back
right,
as a
right.
ghost. He
Okay,
sees
yeah.
him in the sky.
You're right. I'm getting all
Scar is, what the fuck is his name? The bad guy in Hamlet.
He's Ron Perlman in Sons of Anarchy.
Ron Perlman and Sons of Anarchy, exactly.
For the club.
Claudius.
Claudius,
Because
yes.
he's Clay in Sons
Right.
of Anarchy.
Right.
This is
oh,
my
I never
life.
noticed
Kurt
that.
Sutter's
Yeah,
such a sneaky
Gemma
devil.
is Gertrude.
So what's Jax?
Hamlet.
All right. Oh, is he Miles Jax Teller? No, Miles Teller is an actor.
No,
Never
he's
mind.
Jackson Teller.
Jackson Teller. His father
Jackson.
was John.
Okay.
Like, it's not a hundred. It's not a complete translation.
I know it's not. Neither's Lion King. There's no
Yeah.
there's no Laertes, right? Is there?
No, I guess not. That
think
would be
so.
what, like Nala's second love interest.
I guess, yeah.
There's like a weird theory that I don't know it, but something like Scar and Nala had a baby, and like, or maybe even Simba's pride. The baby is Scar's son, and like Simba has to take care of him, and basically it's like he was raping all the once he took over.
I don't know that was actual text of the movie.
It's based. I think the theory is. I don't even know what the theory is, so it's hard for me to say. I think it was
Yeah.
based on the fact that he was an alpha lion. He took over the pride. That's what lions do in real life.
Right.
They impregnate all
All
the
right.
female lions. There's like a whole weird theory to it. I bet you. I'm gonna Google it real quick. I bet you there's lots of weird Lion King theories because it's such a big Disney movie.
I thought you were going to say, I bet there's lots of weird Lion King porn, and I'm
I thought you were going to
positive
say
you're
there's
right.
lots of lion rape. That's what I thought was coming.
None of those things.
Good, thank you. Because sometimes you search some weird things on this show, Jack.
I have there's a podcast about this. I can't remember the name of it. I haven't listened to it because I just haven't had time. But I think it's a great idea for a podcast.
Yeah.
And every episode they deal with like a weird fan theory.
Here's the thing about those weird fan theories. They're like interesting to think about, but then it's just like,
Yeah, I mean,
I
it's
feel like
all-
we've reached saturation
It's
points
all
on weird
hollow
fan theories.
conjecture.
Yeah.
They're fun. It depends on what you like. If you're doing a Lion King theory, that does nothing for me because I'm not talking about Lion King otherwise. But it is fun every Monday morning to go to work and talk Game of Thrones theories. Like,
Right.
Look,
But
90
that's different. That's you're talking about something that's still an ongoing story.
That's what I'm saying. If it's relevant, it's more fun.
I don't know. There's so
I
many
love lost theories, even though they're
like
90%,
the way this Simpsons fan theory is going to change the way you look at the show. And it's like, no, it's not.
Well,
it's just it's a
that's
cute little
because
thing
it's-
someone found like a little bit of
That's
evidence
different.
to support.
That's a fan. That's not a fan theory problem. That's a subcategory of the BuzzFeed problem of articles.
Yeah,
being
these
completely-
clickbaity things
yeah,
that are
exactly.
like, oh my god, it's like it's all a dream, and we're all in Moe's head, and whatever. the
Here's a
hell it is.
website that is certainly going to get me on FBI watch list.
Teen.com. All right.
And they have 7
Here comes
shocking
it.
theories
Knock
about
on the door.
Here's 7 shocking
Come and
theories
knock on our
about
door. We've been waiting for you. We're the FBI. We're here for Jack. Stop searching for teens.
Scar's a tragic hero. That's one of the theories.
Not really.
Scar created a cooperative social system between lion and hyena. He brought peace between the two races.
I guess, but there already was a whole circle of life thing.
And also,
Actually, was the circle of life just
the
like
hyenas were not part of the circle
the
of
hyenas
life.
were excluded from the circle of
Yeah.
life? So, man, that was racist of Mustafa.
It's not fair to the hyenas.
Yeah, they just want to laugh and have a good time.
It's just Whoopi Goldberg and Cheech Marin.
yeah. And that other guy who was DJ's boyfriend on Full House, right? Wasn't he the other voice?
it?
I think so.
That was Aladdin.
That's Aladdin.
He was
Scott-
Aladdin.
Scott,
No, not that DJ boyfriend. The rich one, Nelson. I'm almost positive
I
it
don't
was
know
him.
what you're
All right,
talking about.
all right. There was a third hyena, and he was voiced by another one of DJ's boyfriends. I'm
This
going
is
to make
the-
sure.
The second theory is the Lion King is capitalist propaganda, which is kind of the same as the first theory. I'm starting to think teen.com is just like a communist website. Again, I'm going to get on an FBI watch list.
Yes, teen, you should watch Lion King and
That's
think
not
about the
a picture of
propaganda.
Jay-Z. That's Che Guevara. You're looking at.
Bernie Sanders, hero of the teens on teen.com. Hercules and the Lion King occurred at the same time. That's not a theory. Well, I mean, it's a theory, but who cares? Nala was almost raped by Scar. Do you know that one of the songs is about rape? The Madness of King Scar is about how hot Scar is for Nala and how he'll mate with her whether she likes it or not. That's dark.
Jeez.
Nala, your timing couldn't have been more perfect. My, how you've grown. Nala's blood related to Simba, sure, because that's the theory. That's the theory I was thinking of. That Nala and Simba are cousins because there's only two males in the entire pride, Mufasa and Scar. So all of the lions, by definition, have to be children of one of those two. And if Simba is the son of Mufasa, then I guess all the other lions must be Scar's kids, which is weird to think about.
I was wrong. It wasn't DJ's boyfriend who was the other voice of the hyena, but he did do the voice of Goofy's son Max in a Goofy movie.
There you go.
Yeah, and he did it. He was Eddie Munster in the TV remake of The Munsters.
The
That
Monsters
guy.
Today?
Here's
The Munsters Today. You're right.
Here's the last theory I just want to go over briefly. Mufasa controls the weather. When Scar took the throne, Mufasa used his cloud-altering powers. We can see him use them to talk to Simba to stop all rain on the Pride Lands and cause a drought. This was to turn the lions against Scar and welcome Simba as their new king. As soon as Simba defeated Scar, it started raining again.
You know what? That one's not so crazy because he does have cloud powers. He speaks to him in a cloud.
That's not subtext. That's text.
That's
Clearly,
text.
The Lion King is about Mufasa the cloud superhero.
Is the Lion King about climate change?
I
Like
think it is.
in the wetlands of Africa and the deserts?
The hyenas are carbon emissions.
Yes. Scar is
the Kyoto protocols.
Yep. And we're all Timon and Pumbaa, just trying to have fun.
When the stars realign in the sky and spell out sex, it's
Yeah.
actually not sex. It's stop emitting extra
extra
carbon.
chemicals. I actually believe that I don't think it does say sex, but
It says SFX.
SFX is what it's supposed to be. Yeah, that's what they've
Do you
said.
believe in Eric's boner in the Little Mermaid?
I believe in Eric's boner, period, but not that you see it in that scene. It's clearly the priest's knee.
Yeah,
There's websites. I think Snopes.com has a whole page of Disney animation things and tears them down.
I like to talk about these things. Or I don't like to talk about it. I find them interesting to talk about because so many people are talking about them. But I find it really weird who like the first few people who are like, oh man, Prince Eric had an erection. It's like, get a life. Like,
Well, it's weird because on the cover of the I almost said DVD of the VHS for Little Mermaid, there was an actual penis on the cover.
there was
Yeah, I have that
Why?
copy, or maybe I don't need more.
because the animator still was funny.
So an animator, he was either just sneaking it in because he's a dick, or he was getting fired. He was just
pun
wanted
intended.
like a fuck you.
From what I heard, when
I'll bring
when
it up.
Disney would release these movies, they would fire the animators as soon as they were done. So each animator would put their tag on something,
Right, so I think
Tag
that-
or
That
something like
sucks.
that.
That's dark.
Yeah,
I guess it makes sense if they were doing one movie every like 5 years.
yeah. Here it is. It's a
Dan,
digital,
is
it's a digital
showing.
dick.
Dan is showing me the penis. Oh, it's like a.
Like it's a
It's an
circumcised
erect,
penis.
circumcised
Yeah,
penis.
it's like
All right.
part of
impressive
Neptune's tower.
But like, who would look
Anyway.
for that though? Like, who would?
Yeah,
I
exactly.
mean, after I found this, I was like, I have to search every VHS tape for more hidden penises. It turned me into the man I am today.
They should have an app that just searches for all penises in the internet.
What would you call it? You have to think of a cute name for it.
Find all the penises in your area.
I got it. EYE. And then,
or like
Like-
Dingy or something like that. Or
Diggy's not bad. I was just thinking I and like the Y would be like a pee hole.
Right. Well, you could. The word "I" looks like a dick because the E's are balls and the Y hangs down like a schlong.
I guess if you turn
No,
it on its
you
side.
could you could make a design for the word eye.
I just took my penis out. I'm looking
Yeah,
at it
we're
right
looking-
now.
it looks like an eye.
It doesn't look like an eye to me.
It looks like eye.
It doesn't look like the word eye.
Lowercase q.
Lowercase q for sure. Yeah, all right.
That's I'm working on that.
Please see a Dr. Jack.
What's
We're very
weird
worried
is
about you.
it looks like the lowercase I, and I don't know what the dot is. Why is it completely separated from the rest
I
of my
don't know.
body?
That's not normal. That's really weird.
Why does my penis look like that floating bonsai on Kickstarter?
So what else we got about the Lion King? I'm sure there's more to talk about. The music, Elton
music's
John.
great.
Let's talk about the Elton John soundtrack. Can you guys feel the love tonight?
It really made him that really took him to another level in his career.
I feel like it did.
It elevated him from kind of Rod Stewart-y pop singer to
All of a sudden, he was an
Yeah.
icon.
Yeah,
Elton
exactly.
John. Yeah, that's right. And then,
maybe-
and then after Princess Di
I was
died,
gonna say it might have been a 1-2 punch between Lion King and then the
Yeah.
Princess Di Candle in the Wind.
could be.
I think the best song in the entire soundtrack, the one I could play over and over and over, is "Can't Just Wait." I just can't
Just
wait
Can't Wait to Be King, of course.
And I feel like everybody loves that song, but I feel like I never see that at the top of anybody else's list.
That's a good one. I've definitely sung that in karaoke. So
Really?
yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay,
Oh, you don't like my karaoke song choice, huh? What do you say karaoke?
Give Me Shelter.
No, that's who ever heard of "Gimme Shelter"?
I touched myself by the Divinals. That's my
That's a good one.
Actually, my most fun karaoke song, but I only get it at the obscure Korean karaoke places, is TURTLE Power, the Partners in Crime Ninja Turtle rap
It
song.
was in a half shell. They're on a mission.
You've actually found
Yeah,
it.
they
in
didn't
a-
wish-
Oh
next
yeah,
day
it's
at
in all
home.
the Korean karaoke bars in like
Really?
Koreatown. Yeah.
Wow.
It's not Ninja Rap by Vanilla Ice. It's the one
Right.
from the first one, and
Yep.
it's literally just they rap the entire
plot of the movie. Yeah.
Leonardo, Donatello, Michelangelo make up the group
Raphael.
with one other fellow,
Raphael.
Raphael.
He's the leader of the group, transformed from the north by the nuclear goop.
Nice.
I might be able to do the
Pizza
whole song.
is the food that's sure
Sure
to
to please.
please.
These ninjas are into pepperoni and cheese.
Now back to the story. Not hard to follow.
I like that. Back to the story.
Yeah.
After that sidebar about pizza.
My favorite lyric: "You can't dust us off like,
Like
some
some
old
cold coffee table."
Like, what is that?
Since we've been bored, we've
We've
been willing and able
to defeat
to
protect the weak, defeat the
Defeat
sneak. No, defeat the sneak, protect the weak.
Fight for what's right, your freedom of
freedom to
speech?
speak. Freedom to speak.
Yeah, all right, maybe I can't do the whole thing, but I think we did pretty well just then.
TURTLE power. TURTLE power. Yeah, it's just catchy as hell.
There was
and
definitely a
it's-
time in my life when I was driving around listening to that song with
And
my
I-
windows down.
And I get a lot of shit because I don't rap a lot and I'm not very good at rapping, but like for whatever reason that song comes to me very naturally. But I do the thing with like Eminem does where
Right.
I hold the mic with my left hand and my right hand is like
You're, like,
it's
setting the
half
beat.
cupped, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like doing this thing where it's like I'm kind of like saluting
You're
very
doing the
quickly.
up and down.
Yeah, the up and
Hey,
down.
you gotta show the turtles some respect.
And and I'm like hunched. I don't use the mic stand. I'm like hunched, and I'm like doing the thing where like
Right.
my hand is like the rap hand.
Yeah, rap
but
hand.
but I
It's
look
classic
super
move.
white when I'm doing it, especially when I'm doing it to
Yeah.
Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, it's pretty white. Did you guys know Rowan Atkinson was the voice of, or not Rafiki, of Zazu in The Lion King?
Mr. Bean.
Yes.
No, no.
Yeah.
It took me a while to realize that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Rafiki
But then when you think
is
about Rafiki
Guillaume, Robert Guillaume Benson from the soap,
Okay.
And Benson.
and Benson, yeah, because they also do a Lion King centric, which is crazy to say. They do a Lion King centric episode on Sports Night, the Aaron Sorkin show that Robert Guillaume starred in.
Yeah.
And what was his face? Not
Jer-
Noah Wiley. The guy who looks like Noah Wiley.
Oh,
Guy who
He
looks
was in
like
that
Noah
movie
Wiley.
SWAT and
not Joshua Molina. Yeah, Joshua Molina from
Jo-
Dead Poets Society.
Four Brothers too with
Was it not Joshua Molina? What's his name?
Mark
Josh
Wahlberg.
Charles. Josh
Josh
Charles.
Charles.
Yeah.
Oh, the one from The Good Wife.
Yeah.
And the reboot, Wet Hot American Summer, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's in The Lion King?
No, he's in what we were just talking about.
Oh, I don't know. I stopped
Sports
paying
Night.
attention. Oh, okay. Who else was in The Lion King? You got Matty
Simba.
Broads.
We haven't talked about
We haven't
JTT.
talked about Simba at all. Well, you got JTT and you got Matty
and
Broads.
Matthew Broderick. Yeah.
Got Ferris Bueller. You got whatever the fuck his name was on Home Improvement.
That was huge for Jonathan Taylor Thomas because for Home Improvement was popular, but it wasn't like for
Home Improvement was
It was
huge.
number one for a long time.
It was huge, but it was like I
was
feel like
horrible, but it
JT
was number one for a long time.
JTT was
I agree with you.
but JTT was like a poster heartthrob for girls.
Yes.
because he was JTT. I don't think they were like, I love him on Home Improvement.
But that's where he came to
That's where
fame.
his-
right. That's how he got his name.
It
out
was his
there.
dreamy eyes that made him a teen beat idol.
And then once he became a Teen Beat idol, they started giving him more to do in Home Improvement, and it was really shoehorned in. And felt terrible. Yeah.
Wrong show. I'm just curious what Jonathan Taylor Thomas is up to now. Apparently, he guest starred
Probably
on
about
Last
6
Man
foot.
Standing.
He was on Veronica Mars.
There's a shock.
He was on a great episode of Veronica Mars. But
He
that
was on Veronica
probably
Mars,
like
but that
10
was
years ago.
Yeah, that
now.
was more than 10 years
To me,
ago.
that's new.
Yeah, that was 11 years ago, actually.
Christ almighty.
He seems to just be on episodes of Last Man Standing with Tim
Allen.
Allen. So that was kind of it.
That's a shame.
I mean,
Matthew
it's
Broderick
not really
doing-
a huge shame because he's not a great actor.
But Matthew Broderick, great actor.
Matthew Broderick is great.
Still kicking out movies and
He is.
Broadway,
and
movies.
He's like primarily a Broadway actor now, which
Yeah,
I don't
there's a
think
lot
anyone
of-
would have thought of when Ferris Bueller came out.
Had he? I'm guessing he had done stuff before Producers, but I think Producers' massive success is what pretty much gave him the rest of his life. He can now do musicals.
Probably,
and not
yeah.
have to audition for him.
and
Yeah.
they
He's
did-
just such a likable guy too, and he's like nothing like his Ferris Bueller character. He's almost
Yeah.
more like his sad sack election character.
Yeah, and it's a shame that he killed that guy in 1987.
I know, it's so dark. You know, he in a drunk driving accident. right?
There really was a car accident
Yeah,
where somebody
him-
died. Yeah.
And he
So
murdered
if
somebody.
you don't know,
It
it's
was-
on his Wikipedia
It was
page.
in Ireland. He was with Jennifer Grey.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, which is weird that they were fucking because playing brother and
Brother
Jenny
sister.
and Ferris
sister.
were.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's.
Yeah.
I hope to God I never accidentally kill somebody.
He's
'cause
a
that-
horrible alcoholic.
Matthew
Really?
Broderick.
Yes.
Since then, or
Because of that,
today.
maybe?
yeah,
Well, during that, and
definitely
Yeah,
during
I'm
that.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder why. He seems.
married to Sarah Jessica Parker. Probably.
Yeah, maybe that's why.
Well, hey now. Actually,
she seems nice.
I looked. Just looking at Matthew Broderick's
Honey?
Wikipedia page. Apparently, he. I get it. Apparently, he won a Tony in 1983
83.
Oh, I do
for
remember
a
that.
show called Brighton Beach Memoirs.
Brighton Beach
I
Memoirs.
do
And then
remember
he was
reading
in the
that,
stage
Biloxi
production of
Blues.
Biloxi Blues.
Biloxi
Yeah.
Blues,
Yeah.
I didn't even know there
So
was
he
a stage
is a
production.
theater guy.
And then
Okay.
he won another Tony in How to Succeed with Business Without
That
really
I
trying.
remember, yeah.
And then he didn't win for the producers. So that's odd.
And then he made the Producers movie, which was terrible.
yeah,
Oh,
which
horrible.
was not so good.
And then they tried to do The Odd Couple. They tried
Oh,
to
yeah,
and that didn't
yeah.
work either.
Yes.
They're desperately trying to make more money out of him and Nathan Lane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They should do The Lion King with Matthew Broderick.
They should do
as Simba.
Philadelphia with him and Nathan Lane. I'd pay to see that on stage.
I've got it.
Everyone has AIDS.
Get me a cheesesteak and an HIV cocktail.
That's basically the plot of Rent, though, right? Wasn't it?
The cheesesteaks, yeah.
Yeah, the cheesesteaks.
They're just trying to earn enough to pay their
Yeah.
rent and get some cheesesteaks.
Yep. Jeremy Irons. Let's talk about Jeremy Irons.
Oh, he's so good as
He's
Scar.
so good. I used to listen to Be Prepared all the time.
That's
He's
great-
great as Alfred in the Batman vs. Superman
I still
movie.
haven't seen it.
He was a solid Alfred, I still think even more than Scar, his best performance will always be as Hans Gruber's brother in Die Hard. with a
Simon
Vengeance,
Gruber.
I agree.
when he shoots Samuel L. Jackson in the foot while eating a hard-boiled egg.
Forgot to take off the safety catch.
It just tickles me to no end.
It's a great
I'm a
moment.
soldier, not a monster.
I'm curious, guys. What do you primarily know Jeremy Irons from?
I just said Die Hard.
Is
with a
it,
Vengeance.
but like when you think of Jeremy Irons, I think of this. I think of Die Hard.
I first saw him in a movie called Dead Ringers, where he played
Okay.
twin gynecologists.
I've never
who were
seen
evil.
Dead Ringers. It's been on my list for a
But-
long
Wait,
time.
evil gynecologist?
Yeah, twin gynecologists.
What's he doing
That's-
down there that's evil?
It's a
a lot.
Cronenberg movie,
Yeah,
right? Yeah,
correct.
Yeah.
That's where I first saw him.
That's
yeah,
actually
yeah.
a great
Okay.
idea for a horror film because I can't think of the best horror films is something that exploits an everyday thing and like the fears that's inherent behind it and like God being propped up with your legs spread and that's a very
Yeah.
vulnerable like an
We're
evil
going to
gynecologist.
take a look now.
That's so creepy.
Yeah.
That's so creepy. And Jeremy Irons is perfect for that.
Yeah. And then the other thing I know him from is that Simpsons joke, Jeremy
Yeah,
Irons.
I was gonna say that's
Then
actually
Reversal of Fortune, where he played Klaus von Bülow.
yeah, and
I've never seen it.
Lolita.
Well, he won his Oscar for Reversal of Fortune.
Oh yeah, that was like
Oh.
his big. He was already big before the '90s, which is
Yeah,
when
he
we
was
started-
right.
He was big in England.
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dead
Yeah.
Ringers, and then the what
Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, I was about to say he's great in that.
the Marlon Wayne's vehicle, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yes.
I feel like I just saw him in a trailer for something that looked terrible, like a sci-fi.
Was it Batman
blockbuster.
vs Superman?
No, it wasn't. He was like behind
Justice League?
He was like in an elevated office behind glass, like overlooking a lab.
Let's see. I'll see what he's got coming up. I just want to. I'll look this up while I'm
It
talking.
might have been a fake fan trailer for Assassin's Creed that I was watching high and thought was a real Assassin's Creed trailer. And I really, like a minute and a half, I was like, why are they using footage from X-Men? What's going on?
He's in a movie called The Man Who Knew Infinity. That's coming out. He is in Assassin's Creed.
That's the movie about the Indian prodigy, the math prodigy. I was listening to that on Sci-Fi. This is my recap of Sci-Fi, SciSat.
He is in Assassin's Creed. Real quick before we
so
run
it
out
was
of time.
Assassin's Creed.
It must
Okay,
have been, yeah. Real quick before we run out of time, I just want to mention Hakuna Matata. It means no worries for the rest of your days.
Yeah, that's
I recently saw Book of Mormon for the first time.
Yeah.
Have you guys both seen it? You're both familiar with it?
I've seen it.
So there's a song in Book of Mormon.
Hasadiga
Ibowai.
Yeah.
They
Wait,
really
had you never heard the song before you saw them?
No, never.
Oh, that must have been such a
I'd known a little
surprise.
bit of what it was, but all of Book of Mormon really throws a lot of shade at The Lion King and specifically the Broadway production because it's about two Mormon missionaries who are sent to war-torn Uganda, and it's horrible and it's probably the worst place on earth. And instead of Hakuna Matata, they all say Hasadiga Ibowai, and as the song is going and the Mormons get into it, and they're like Hasadiga Ibowai, yeah.
And it's basically the song is Hakuna Matata. It's like
It's
say
basically
this,
Hakuna
say
Matata.
this to rid yourself of your worries, and
Right.
like just this is a good life motto.
And as they're singing it, and it slowly comes out that what Hasadiga
spoilers,
Ibowai
if
means.
you're going to see Book of Mormon,
Skip ahead like 45 seconds if you don't want to know. When they find out what it means is "fuck you, God."
Yeah.
and
then
I
this-
thought that was amazing.
I
I
wish
know a friend with that tattoo on his arm.
Hasadiga Ibowai, really?
I wish I could have saw the show.
I could see someone getting that.
I wish I could have saw the show cold without knowing that because I heard that song on the car radio and it was so fun. And like the song ends with like an upbeat group singing "fuck you God, fuck you asshole."
Well,
and the cunt.
it ends with "fuck you, God" and the ass, mouth, and cunt, which
Yeah.
is very, very vulgar.
And it's amazing that this
I
is
had it
such a
stuck in my
well-received
head.
Broadway show.
Oh, yeah,
like,
Tony winner.
Like we're cool with that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
but like I'm surprised
Stuffy old Broadway.
Yeah, mainstream America would be okay with that.
But I had that song stuck in my head. I still have it stuck in my head a little bit, and I'm like walking down the street like "fuck you, God" in the ass, mouth, and cunt.
Fuck you God and your asshole, mouth, and cunt.
And that is it for this episode of 90s Percentile. That's a good thing to go off on. All right, guys, so that is it. Billy, what we like to do at the end of our show is talk about what we have learned today. So what have you learned in this past hour of 90s Percentile?
Lion rape is horrible.
You're right. 100% accurate. Jack, what have you learned?
I already knew that. So
Yeah.
no, I learned that hypothetically, eating weed it would get you higher, but I should not watch the Ryan Reynolds movie Buried.
No, definitely not. You shouldn't watch it, period, because it was not a good movie.
I liked it. I thought
I
it
didn't
was
like it
alright.
at all.
I thought it was one of his better vehicles.
Yeah,
All
I'm not
right.
a Ryan Reynolds fan. I liked Deadpool. I finally saw Deadpool. I liked everything but Ryan Reynolds. I thought he was. I know he got the movie made, but he was miscast.
Yeah, I liked him in Deadpool, and I like him in general, but that's besides the point. What did I learn today? I learned that Disney is really like.
I thought you were a little spacey there.
No, Disney's really pushing Lion King into the ground. Like they've had
Yeah.
multiple sequels. Apparently there were two TV
series.
series. There was
There's
Lion
Li-
Guard and a Timon and Pumbaa show.
There's
also
Lion King 1.5.
One
It was
Yeah.
a prequel.
Wow.
But that's through Timon and Pumbaa's eyes.
Why
so-
would it be 1.5?
There's
Wouldn't it be
fear-
Lion King
Because
0.5?
it's the story told between Timon and Pumbaa's.
Oh, okay. All right.
There's also Fear, the Lion King. It's what's
And then
happening.
there's Talking Lion King.
Yeah,
afterwards.
there's Talking King. There's Talking.
Talking. That's a,
It's just Talking.
That was pretty good.
There's Lion King Atlantis.
Oh my God! All
And
right,
the other
guys, that was great.
spin-offs.
If you want more content from We Studios, you can get our Simpsons Show worst episode ever. Go to WePodcast.com and our movie commentary series Sync Points available for $2 each. WePodcast.com also, and as you probably heard at the top of the show, support the show. Amazon.WePodcast.com. That helps us out a lot. And Billy, while you're here, we'd like you to plug some stuff. Plug your shows again.
Yep, June 11th at the Holiday Inn in Plainview. Big charity roast with myself, Stuttering John, Jackie the Joke Man, Reverend Bob Levy.
Check it out.
And then
Should be good.
July 13th, we're at the Old Place in Forest Hill, Queens.
All right, and if people want to follow you, I'm assuming you're on Twitter.
Yes, it's Tricky, ITSTRICHY.
Excellent.
That's
I'm
tricky.
sorry. I'm at Jackie No Breaks.
I'm at Then Dan Says. And before we get out of here, guys, if you don't want to spend any money, but you do want to support the show, leave an iTunes review, 5-star iTunes review. That helps us out so much. We currently have nothing but 5-star reviews. We'd like to keep it that way, but rate us as you feel appropriate.
Nah, just do 5 stars.
Just do the 5 stars. But Billy, while we have you here, we would like you to read one of our 5-star reviews.
Sure, you got it. Dak and Jan do it again.
All right.
I love these boys. Make great podcast. Everyone totally radical, totally tubular.
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 Tubular. Are they saying we're fat?
Is that what it says? Like,
Thank
but
you,
it,
Billy.
Exactly what it
it
says.
ends with a D. Who is that from?
That is from Bath Crone. So thanks so much,
Thank you.
Bath Crone.
I've never been called tubular before. I'll take it.
If you would like to also call us Tubulard, all you got to do is write an iTunes review, and we will read it
Yeah,
on
especially
the
if
show.
you use 90 something. That's fun. And if you don't want to leave a review or whatever, maybe you don't even use iTunes. Just tell your friends about us. Spread
Yeah,
the word.
helps
Spread
a
the
lot.
word in Reddits, in various comment threads. Just tell friends at work. Word of mouth has been our biggest asset and
Yeah.
Continues to be. And
It's
keep
that,
it up, guys.
and it's you and me driving around in my car just playing the
We
podcast
have
in
one of-
between Turtles.
We have one of those old
Turtle
school
Power.
cars with all the bull horns
Yeah.
like sticking out.
like an old
Vote for Mr. Johnson.
Yep,
exactly.
That's what we're doing.
Mayor Goldie Wilson.
Goldie Wilson.
All right, guys, that's it for this episode. You can cut that. All right, guys, that's
No, I'm
it.
gonna leave that in.
All right, never mind. I thought maybe. All
Nope,
right,
staying in.
that's it for this episode of 90s Percentile, guys. My name is Dan.
My name is Jack, and we'll see you in another decade.
Boop.